What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So a few months ago, before the NBA draft, if you guys actually caught a video on my channel, I titled it, "I'm Worried About Chet Holmgren," where I talked about my fears about whether an NBA team should be willing to take him #1 overall. I believe he has plenty of talent. I think he could be a guy that becomes a generational talent, from Kevin Durant to guys like Anthony Davis, Giannis. He has the ability to do that. But as we all know, the biggest question mark around his entire game has always been, even when he was in high school coming up as a prospect, what is he going to do with his weight and being as tall as he is and as skinny as he is? He has had multiple injuries across his career, but just now, a few days ago, I think it was yesterday morning, they came out and said that he is going to be missing the entire season because of a Liz Frank foot injury. Now, this injury is not the most serious, and in the past, from what I've researched about it, it did have a much bigger connotation. It's actually more of a football typical injury, but there have been NBA players who have, basically had this injury and come back to have at least a productive NBA career. To name a few off of a list I found: Udonis Haslem, Furkan Korkmaz, Caleb Martin, who had this in college, so him and his brother are playing just fine in the NBA. Gerald Green in 2019, obviously he retired after that, but he has come back to the G League. And lastly, Jason Preston did have this in 2021, but he was able to return and play relatively well in the Summer League. So it's not a career-ending injury like it used to be, but when it comes to a guy like Chet Holmgren, it's a little bit more scary to think about injuries like this. As we all know, there have been numerous massive, 7-foot-plus centers come into the NBA who are supposed to be the next big thing, and they just can't control injuries. They can't control the health of their knees, the health of their feet, especially. Those two areas are what kill them the most. Greg Oden, Yao Ming, Joel Embiid has had plenty of injuries. Anthony Davis, going back to Joel Embiid, he missed an entire season because of those injuries. And I'm not going to say that we can list Chet Holmgren as one of these people. In my opinion, I think it's probably better for the Thunder if they change Chet Holmgren to more of a small forward, power forward type player. I don't think he's an NBA center, even though he is 7 feet tall. The way he plays and the way he moves, he does not need to be in the paint guarding the other team's NBA centers. But of course, this all happened after the viral video came out of them playing in a pickup game. It was basically like, just a normal pickup game where a bunch of guys come together, and you've got two NBA players, or a few NBA players. LeBron was one of them, and obviously Chet Holmgren was one. I will play the clip right now over the video. LeBron drives straight at Chet. He doesn't have any fear that he's going to get blocked. He doesn't have any fear that Chet is going to be able to stop him. And he was right. And two, Chet comes up limping. It looks like he injures himself on this play. Now, we don't know if this is what actually caused the injury. I haven't done that research to know if this is exactly why he had this injury, but it's not shocking when he plays against a real NBA player like that who's going to run straight at him no matter what his size is. He's going to have injury issues. When he's so much smaller than the competition, he's going to have a problem keeping up with his health, keeping up with his, his knees and his feet, especially because he doesn't have the weight and the strength of all the other NBA players. And in my opinion, this is a very worrying sign, because how many times have we seen an NBA player of his height, of his weight, skinny like him, or even bigger centers who are, they still have decent muscle mass on them, they get injured, and they continue to get injured, and they continue to get injured, and they continue to get injured until their career is either they're not the superstar that they were meant to be, or they're forced to retire a lot earlier than they thought they would originally. That's a big worry, in my opinion, if I'm a Thunder fan right now. Now, I do think he'll come back from this injury specifically just fine, as I read off in the beginning. There's been numerous examples, especially with medical advancements and all of that in modern day, that there's been numerous instances of NBA players coming back from this and having a solid career, or even a good NBA career. So I don't think this specific injury is a problem for Chet Holmgren, but I think the idea of this injury, the idea that this could continue to happen in the future anytime he gets on the court, which, I mean, is a bit of a understatement, because any player could get injured at any time. But when you have his frame going against guys who are a lot bigger than him, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, is how I view it, for him to get injured. So I think that's what could worry Thunder fans so much. And it's going to be interesting to see how he can come back from this injury. Obviously, he's going to be out the entire season, and some people are saying that, you know, karma got to him a little bit, considering he tried to say that he's going to be the best player in a few months in the NBA and he won't be able to play this season. But at the end of the day, however you feel about his ego, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the comments he made in his pre-draft interviews. However you feel about that, however you feel about him, you know, his play style, him coming through high school, being as big as he was, as highly popular as he was, as much media time as he got coming through high school and college, you still hate to see an injury, especially on a guy that's never been able to step foot on an NBA court. And I hope that he can come back from this stronger than he ever has been before. I know it's going to be a tough road back, especially being a rookie, a guy that's never gotten to play. You just got drafted super high, and now you've got to wait a whole nother year before you get to live out your dream. Obviously, the Thunder probably going to be very bad this year now. I mean, even with Chet Holmgren, there's a chance or a high probability that they were going to be very bad again. But I mean, it looks like they're going to be without him this whole season, so maybe we have to see another season of the Thunder sitting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey at this point towards the end of the year, just basically tanking for losses. And I feel so bad for Thunder fans if you have to sit through another season of that. But at the end of the day, if Chet Holmgren comes back healthy next year, you'll have another top pick most likely, so it'll be more than worth it in my opinion. I think there's a high probability that this injury never affects him again. I think if they make that switch that I talked about before, and I've seen other people talk about where they switch him instead to small forward or a power forward role rather than a center role, I think that could greatly benefit him. And at least if he puts on a little muscle mass, something like that, just a little bit of weight on his body, I think his career will be very good going forward. But this injury is very, very scary to see, especially as soon as he's been drafted as high as he was, and with as many worries as there were. A lot of the critics were saying a lot of the same stuff that Thunder fans and NBA fans who like Chet were saying wasn't going to be an issue, and then this comes out and happens pretty much immediately after being drafted. So that's going to be a big, big spotlight on Chet Holmgren. I personally didn't think he was supposed to or should have been drafted as high as he was, but he proved a lot of people wrong with the way he played in the Summer League, and I saw a lot of things that I really liked in how he played. Granted, it was the Summer League, but there's guys out there that play really good in the Summer League and do great in the NBA and vice versa, so you can't really take it to heart. You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, hopefully Chet Holmgren can come back healthy from this injury. I know this one's going to be a little bit of a tough road to come back from, but how are you guys feeling about Chet Holmgren at this point? I love to hear from the point of view of a Thunder fan. If anybody's watching this video as a Thunder fan, do you think Chet Holmgren's going to have injuries going forward in his career? I sincerely hope not, but it definitely would not be the first time we've seen a big man, a guy of his, you know, his stature and his weight struggle to stay healthy in the NBA. And I hope that's not where his career is going. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching this NBA commentary video. Make sure to check out my other type of content as well. I make NBA draft retrospectives where we do a deep dive on what happened to every player in the lottery or the top 10 picks in that draft. Most recently, we looked at the 2013 NBA draft featuring Giannis Antetokounmpo, and we looked at every player before him. Also, on top of that, I do various other NBA history videos, so if you guys want to check that out, I will leave a link at the end of this video to the playlist. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps me out so much, and to help yourselves out, turn post notifications on so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.